Please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening. This is the Environmental Conservation Board. Today's March 6, 2025. We have an agenda that we're going to follow, and there's going to be one change on the agenda. Number 2 is going to go first, and number 1 will go second. So the first item is Viola North America Archer Wells, 9 Colton Road, site plan upgrade to existing well site, planning board referral. Could you please state your name and who you're here to represent?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you for the courtesy, members of the board. My name is Lino Sciaretta, partner with the law firm Blakely, Platt and Schmidt on behalf of Veolia. Just by way of background, we were last here, Mr. Chairman, back in November for our initial plan. This is a site that we currently have temporary PFAS treatment, which is a GAC filter, and we're proposing a more temporary, more permanent structure on the site. We referred to your board by the planning board, looking to get back to the planning board so we can have our site plan hopefully finalized. So I'm going to have, we have our team here tonight. We have Tom Herself from J. Fletcher Kramer, Steve Smith from Gannett Fleming, and then Ram Ramathan from Axel Engineering. So I can have them go through the changes that we did from November. A lot of what we proposed, Mr. Chairman, in terms of the recommendations, we are encapsulated in Gannett Fleming's letter of February 28th, 2025. That was part of the submission. If you like, we can give you just a quick overview of that letter and have Ramya just go through the plan, if that's okay with you, Mr. Chairman.
Sure.
If you had any
Did
questions.
they do the tree cutting already?
Yes.
Tree cutting was done. The tree cutting was done as of 2022.
What's your name, please?
Ramya Ramanathan from Adzel Nasher Ziegler, planner for the applicant. The tree
Okay.
cutting permit was obtained back in 2022 February, and the trees were cut back then under the then valid permit. No additional trees are proposed for removal at
Okay,
this
can
time.
you just walk us through, because we made some recommendations to you
Yes.
at the last meeting.
Yes.
To try and mitigate impact to the wetlands. I would love nothing more than this world to get this back to the planning department. So the floor is yours. Please explain what you did.
Yes.
Steve Smith with Gannett Fleming for Veolia. Recommendation, or the suggestions or recommendations that you had in November, I'll start with the easy ones. It was to put up the wetland boundary markers. Those have been put up. Photos, representative photos were included with the letter that was sent last week. The other items was for the permanent buffer impacts. You asked that we evaluate the potential for converting the dry pond to a rain garden. That was done. We were able to figure out a spot to put in the rain garden. The dry pond was removed, which actually reduced the overall wetland impacts.
So what's the overall impact to the wetland? Here, you want,
It's an extra one.
here's an extra one.
Thank you so much. I'll take it if somebody else needs it. Thank you. Appreciate it. So from last time, we've added that info from our plans of how much area is being disturbed in the wetland as opposed to the wetland buffer, because I know both figures were requested out of us. So the permanent disturbance to the wetlands is 3950 square feet, 3950 square feet.
So the disturbance to the
Wetland and to the
3,000 square feet.
4,000 square feet.
4,000
Yes.
square feet. But what's the total area of disturbance is the total area of disturbance for the project greater than 5,000? You have a SWIP approved?
Yes,
right?
we have, the SWIP is under review with the
Rich,
town engineer,
okay.
yes, yes.
And then what is the area of disturbance in the buffer?
Buffers. It's 13,346 square feet.
13,000 square feet?
Yes.
How much net removal of wetland?
I'm sorry.
Sorry, how much net removal of wetland?
I
The
removal,
the decrease in,
How much wetland are you decreasing in this area?
3,950.
3,900.
So about 4,000
the
square
full,
feet?
the full area of disturbance.
Okay,
Yes.
so,
That's what I mean.
and I get that, so I know the thing, so I checked, Mr.,
Lino's fine.
thank you. I checked with our legal, and there is a mitigation requirement for the 4,000 feet of wetland that you're removing. So I don't know if you have it in here, in this. Do you have a plan, what you want to do to mitigate, or are we going to wing it? What do you want, what's our plan here?
The options we looked at first was mitigation, wetland creation on site. The site, as you can see,
Pretty constrained.
is,
Yeah, it's very
yes,
constrained.
is constrained. It's, what's not wetland is surrounded by forested slopes, not the ideal location to be building
Right.
wetlands. So then we looked at enhancement of the wetlands that were there. The only option really for enhancement is what's in the power line right away. Violi reached out to New York State Electric and Gas and about the opportunity to plant trees and small shrubs. They nixed that right away. Then we looked at, again, wetland creation options at some of the other Veolia sites that are in your town, Chateau, London Bridge,
Geimer.
Geimer, and Mahopac. The first three, Geimer, London Bridge, and Chateau, are on relatively small properties bordered by residential and, again, wetlands. So there's really no opportunities there. Mahopac is a larger site. However, what's not wetland is forested slopes. And the opportunity to create wetlands there would be extensive earthwork and tree removal. So that wasn't a viable option either. So the out-of-scope, out-of-kind option that's in the letter is coordinating with one of your local parks.
I would not have a problem with that. But what I would like is, as part of whatever we go through tonight, I would like to have a letter tomorrow, within a week, to outline what your plan is to mitigate the disturbance. If you have to go to, the park over here and plant a shrubbery, or something, whatever you have to do to mitigate or enhance the, to try and, I can't just, the sweep of a pen, remove a wetland, right? That's what we're here to protect.
Sure.
So what I will do is, we'll go through the rest of your items that you have on this list. We're gonna vote on which way we're gonna go with this thing. But one of the conditions would be that you give us a detailed plan of what you're going to do to mitigate that amount of wetlands. Because in my humble opinion is, the groundwater, the drinking water for the public is much more important than the wetland, but the wetland cleans the water to make the water drinkable, right? So I'm okay with that. So, all right, so just what else did you address on the map?
Well, the out-of-kind options that are in that letter are, and we can coordinate with one of your local parks, but we were just, for starting the conversation, we proposed a park bench, a couple of trees, and then at the Archer site, a bat box.
A what?
A
A
bat
bat
box.
box.
Okay. One bat box?
One would be proposed. You can typically, depending on the size, they'll hold dozens, if not 100 or more bats.
Okay.
Depending
What
on the
other
size.
items did we have on the list besides the wetlands? That was the big one, right?
Yep, yeah, it was the removal of the wetlands,
The removals of the wetlands.
and potentially changing the dry,
Yeah.
dry
Dry pond to the.
Which they did.
pond, which they did.
Okay. So, did you do the test pit
Yes, and the location has been determined based on that,
for the dry
for
pit?
for the rain garden.
The rain garden. And what's the size of the rain garden?
Okay, I have that number.
And show me that, where it is. And did you give us the plantings?
Yes, we have a tree plan Oh, the selection of landscaping on that? No, I will get that back to you. I reviewed the drawings today with the engineers and looks like that got missed. I'll give you that plan with the detail on what's being proposed. We do have, I'm so sorry. We do have a note in there from the previous sites that came before the ECB for Veolia, which had a general list of species, which to my understanding, it just seems like the town can pick, the engineer can suggest which plants they want and we'll put that in. So that it's like a text note in there,
Yes.
but if you want like a detailed drawing,
So what I'd like to do is, so for number two, I need a proposed mitigation for 4,000 square feet wetland. I need to see the plantings, your wetland, your rain garden. I want to see the sizing
yes,
of
That I
rain
have.
garden with plantings. And you have to submit that to the town engineer for approval.
sure.
And we, like I said, like Rami said, we did that for other sites as well, same.
No, I
Yes.
understand,
Yeah, we'll do that.
but it should have been here, right?
It is in here, but it's not in a sketch form, it's in a written form.
I like pictures.
Okay, sounds good, which is why I'm clarifying. Got it.
Thank you too.
Worth 1,000 words.
I agree.
Okay, what was the other item? Does anybody remember? I'll look through the notes. What else did we ask you to do the last time?
So,
It was the wetland markers.
yep.
We got the wetland markers, that's beautiful. How many did you install?
He provided photos of 4, but I don't know.
Yeah, I saw pictures of 4. Okay, I
We can-
don't care,
we
but
can-
just.
Okay,
Okay. And that's it, right?
Yes.
And you're gonna keep the, whatever equipment you use, you're gonna keep the equipment on 6 mil poly like we
Yes.
discussed.
All
You're gonna
that's in
spill
there.
plan, you're
Yes.
gonna have all that stuff. It's all
it's
on
in
the
the plan.
plans,
It's
right?
on the plan. The only thing not there is your sketch for the landscaping on the
Right, we
rain
could
garden.
get that
We'll
to
get
you
that
by
in,
Monday.
yes.
And we need the rain garden calcs.
Yes, I have the summary with me, but I'll ask my engineer to put it on the drawing, just note it
Right, and
also.
then just
Yeah.
give it to the town engineer.
Sure, for sure, yes.
Okay. Anybody else?
I have a suggestion. So, the cost to rebuild or re-dredge, I don't know actually how you do it, of 4,000 square feet of wetland loss. If you calculate what that cost is, which I have no idea what that would cost on the site, I do think that an option that should be explored, and I mentioned this last time, an option that can be explored, I don't know the full ramifications or legality of it in terms of our code, is potentially similar to what we do with our recreation fund on site plans, provide an in lieu donation to the town for us to earmark or put towards environmental conservation at some point in the future, either in a town-owned property or potentially used for some other site development in the future. I don't know I'm not a lawyer, and I don't know that whole,
So I could, it's a great idea. I just have to check, because I know I spoke to your town attorney about something like
Joe.
that, like, yeah, and I spoke to Joe, not about this topic, but I spoke to Greg about this topic that
Right,
you're
Greg
mentioning now.
Verchetti.
Yep. And Greg and I, it's just, if your code provides for it, if there's a way to do it, like to provide some type of contribution for, like you said, environmental protection, like, almost like a fund, like an in lieu of parkland, right? That you're allowed to do, and I think your code, I think you have that in your code, if I'm not mistaken. But something along those lines, but for wetlands. We have to find it. If we can make it work and somehow do that, that's one option to do it. Because again, the letter that we submitted to you, Mr. Chairman, we went through the options, we did as best we could.
No, and I read them,
Yeah.
and I went through them, and I mean, you're handcuffed, right?
We're a little handcuffed, but if there's a monetary value, again, we talked about
Again,
it.
so this is what I'm gonna suggest, all right? So I'm gonna leave it to you.
Sure.
Okay? And I'm gonna say, fair, right? I'm fair, everybody here is fair individual, right? So whatever you think meets the intent of the code, meaning 2 for 1 versus you know, whatever, you know, I gotta give you 700 trees, or whatever, you know, whatever it is, I'm gonna leave that to you. And that's gonna be a condition of the acceptance.
Of acceptance. So that means we're accepting that, we can accept the application, but it still needs to be voted on in two
In a month.
meetings. Right.
Right, and it'll be subject to, you know, your town attorney and my review to come up
Right.
with that figure.
I
So-
am not an attorney, I just play one on TV. I am,
Even if, and this is my personal opinion, because we obviously
can't
are
give me a
board
personal
here.
opinion.
Yeah. As a member of the board, I can give my opinion,
Okay.
can't I?
I don't know.
Putting this instead of specifically earmarking it for environmental conservation, putting a note in there and then putting it into a general recreation fund with that understanding is still better than not getting any sort of mitigation for
Correct.
this. So
Understood.
I'll just put that out there.
Okay, so then I'm gonna just put this to a vote. Everybody's okay?
Yep.
So do I have a motion to grant, to accept the application for Viola North America Archer Wells for 9 Colton Road, to upgrade the existing well site, planning board referral with the following conditions? One is that within 2 weeks, I have to have a proposed mitigation for the 4,000 square feet of wetlands. I need to have, by next week, I need a drawing for the sizing of the rain garden with plantings and calculations.
Yes.
And I would like them submitted to the town engineer for approval.
Yes.
Do I have a motion?
And just make clarification, Mr. Chair, before you vote, and when you say the 4,000 square foot wetlands mitigation, that would also potentially include like an in lieu type of situation, subject to the town attorney and my review to
Right,
provide
so
for
the
that.
proposal for the 4,000 square foot, which 8,000 square
8,000.
feet.
Right,
was
which
gonna
could
ask.
potentially
Which could
include a
potentially
monetary.
be up to, could potentially include monetary, it could include
Fine, that's all.
plantings, it could include
A bat box.
a bat box, with
Gotcha.
boxes.
No, I just want to
maybe
make
a
sure it
bat
was
signal.
included in that, that's all.
Yeah.
And
Great.
not the buffers, the wetlands, the 4,000
For
square
the
feet of
wetlands.
wetlands.
Yep.
For the wetlands, right. The buffer is being mitigated through the rain
garden.
Rain
garden.
garden.
Okay,
It's just the wetlands that we have to mitigate.
okay.
All right, so,
Understood.
I'll repeat myself. Do I have a motion to accept the application for Viola North America, Archer Wells at 9 Colton Road with the following conditions? 1, proposed mitigation for 8,000 square feet of wetlands through either a financial or a planned renovation, installation of wetland materials at an off-site, subject to discussions with the town engineer and Viola's lawyer, I mean, the town attorney and Viola's attorney, and sizing of the rain garden with plantings to the town engineer for approval. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, you're on the clock.
Thank you so
Very
much.
Appreciate it. Thanks for the courtesy, by the way.
No problem.
Thank you.
Someday I'll come to you for a favor. May your son be a
Clean
masculine
water?
son.
Is the favor gonna be clean water without PFAS in it?
And you can have cannoli with that water.
You can find cannoli?
Thank you very much. Have a good night.
You too.
Good night.
Okay, next. Brown, Daniel, and Allison. Daniel and Allison Brown.
Hi, I'm Mary Scott, the architect for the Browns.
How are you?
I'm doing well, how are you? So I was here the last meeting to propose doing a shed and a dock. It was pointed out to me at that point that the dock was over the 25-foot limit that the town has, so we're actually deciding what we're going to do about that, go for a variance or whatever. So I revised the application to just be for the shed.
All right.
Okay, there really is no variance for a dock.
You mean it's not possible?
No. It's 25 feet.
Really?
Just a heads up.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll try and make that work. You know, the owner's trying to find out how deep.
How they,
Yeah,
how they
how-
could do it, and then off the property.
Right.
You can still try to seek one, it's just whether or not the zoning board will approve that is your question, is the
Okay, well, you know, if you say it's
And
not,
it has to come here anyway.
eventually.
yeah, no,
So, and if you, I think the code says it's 25 feet as well as the navigable.
okay,
I'm
well,
not-
that's good to know, so. we'll try not to-
Okay, what do you got?
Okay, so we're doing a shed. It's 8 by 10. We got a zoning variance, so it's 4 feet from the side, 2 feet from the rear property line, which is on the lake side. But in fact, there's a lake wall, so it's 19 feet from the lake wall.
Okay,
And what we discussed the last time, that it's gonna be set on a bed of gravel, and Mr. Fannin proposed that it comes out 2 feet beyond each side on the eaves in order to
fine.
catch the water and then go underneath. It's going to be brought down in pieces. They
Excuse me, I am sorry, this is work.
They-
Wow, daytime job. I can't talk, is it an emergency?
Just give it a minute.
Goodbye, I gotta go back. Sorry about that,
That's all right.
That's okay.
I apologize.
We all work at night.
That's my daytime job.
Well, this is mine too. So they can't bring it down in one piece.
What, they're gonna
because
break down, are they gonna construct it in like a regular stick frame building, or they're
Well,
gonna
it's gonna
just
be in panels, yeah, it's
Okay.
probably, made by the Mennonites in Pennsylvania somewhere and brought
Okay.
in
Sure.
pieces. And so it will be erected on the site. We did have a rain garden that we put in for the house project, so that's here. And then, as you can see, there's basically sheds on either side of this property,
No
much
problem.
closer to the water than we are.
I'm fine.
Let me ask you something, Mr. Chairman. Do you think that this is a letter of permission or a
Yeah,
permit?
I would go letter of permission.
I agree.
So does that mean I get it tonight?
Yeah,
Did Monday.
Monday.
That would be
We're
great.
not done with you yet, though.
Okay, I'm here.
Yeah, no problem. And then the rain garden, that's an existing rain garden?
We did it for the last project. We called for an inspection in December, and then the weather got bad, and the engineer.
So let me ask you another question, because you're using this rain garden to pick up this.
Correct.
What's picking this up?
The gravel underneath, it's gonna
That's why I
come off the
extended it.
eaves, it's gonna go into the gravel and dissipate underneath. It's 80 square feet.
Okay.
It's downhill, there's no way to get it back into that ring.
You're not gonna put a pump?
Do we
Okay.
want to?
do a hand pump.
Yeah, have somebody out there in the rain doing
Yep.
that. I was out there in the rain last night getting soaked. All right, no problem, that's fine.
Do you have a note on here, that all work to be done by hand?
No.
Well, I described the process, and
I
it's
see the
all
erosion
hand
control.
done, but
Sediment remove, fill silt fence, putting silt fence.
You're not using any equipment, right? All by hand.
correct.
That's what I mean.
Send us an email tomorrow. Send Rose an email tomorrow. saying based upon our discussion today, I'll make it a condition.
Where's that
All
say?
work to be done by hand.
The components of the shed which
Can
have
I
been
ask, as long as
pre-
we're talking about the dock, if I'm within 25 feet and if
We should just
It's
have a,
25 feet from
property line?
that blue line.
Oh, the blue line or the property line? Because the
No,
property
blue
line's
line.
here.
The blue
Oh,
line.
Oh, it's the, oh,
it's the actual bulkhead or lake high water mark.
great. Okay, well, that's actually better.
So let me make-
I think so.
No, yeah, it's hard, I just read it last night, it's high water mark,
High water mark.
yeah.
Okay, all right. Thank you. So,
All right, so do I have a motion?
Real quick, so the shed, the one thing that I think that we're gonna add is just all work to be done by hand, that's right? Is the only thing?
yes.
So this way,
and
no heavy machinery down there, no that kind of thing, right,
No,
okay?
and I will send an email tomorrow confirming that.
To be done by hand. Okay, I'm good.
All right, so do I have a motion to grant a letter of permission to Allison Daniel and Allison Brown for 18 Frederick Street to install an 8x10 shed?
I'll make that motion.
Two conditions.
With two conditions.
All work to be done by hand,
All work is to be done by hand.
and wetlands inspector pre and post.
Okay. All work to be done by hand. And a wetland inspector to do pre and post
Right.
inspection.
Okay.
So Anthony, you
I'll make that motion, yes.
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very well.
Well,
Inspection.
Just please make sure you get us that email that says all work to be
Yeah.
done by hand,
I will.
and then, you can pick up, you'll be able to pick up your
So
permit
it's all by hand and,
and-
No
oh, in
equipment.
the inspection,
No
Yeah.
equipment.
no equipment.
Yeah,
Got it.
and the inspection, right, so after you put in the way the inspection works, have you done that before? You put
Yeah,
in
we
the-
had to because of the silt fence.
Yep,
Yeah. So, okay, great, thank you.
Okay. See another satisfied customer.
the best kind of customer.
Okay, next item. New York City DEP, Kirk Lake Dam, 34 Hill Street. Just please state your name, who you're here to
Sure.
represent.
Good afternoon. My name is Jarrett Horn. I'm the dam safety engineer for Department of Environmental Protection for Bureau of Water Supply. So if you want me to give you a little background of the project? Sure.
Please.
So Kirk Lake had an engineering assessment done a few years ago, and the results showed during ice loading cases, the factors of safety for overturning of the spillway were not met. So we have designed a project to add 16 inches of concrete inside the spillway, and then also add a cutoff wall, small cutoff wall on the upstream left side to prevent some seepage that we have
Like
ongoing.
a weir?
Sorry?
Like a weir?
No, it's a cutoff wall.
Just a
It'll-
cutoff wall?
Yeah, it'll push the embankment out a little bit, so approximately 250 square feet roughly. There's a spot where there's some seepage coming through the old masonry.
And how much concrete are you adding?
So in the slab, it's gonna be roughly 35 by 40 by 16, that's about 60 cubic yards.
All right, so I was gonna say, if it was 16 inches, I didn't think, that's a significant amount, so you really need to have a permit then. Do you have a washout, concrete washout?
We're gonna have that, we're gonna have pumps, we're gonna have tankers taking all the spoils and washout away. We also are gonna be power washing the spillway because it has algae and everything to get the new concrete to adhere. That'll all be mitigated, not be allowed in the stream downstream. Yep,
Okay, I need to see that in a plan.
okay.
I need you to submit to me a sequence of operation, meaning the following, like, you're gonna go there, you're gonna install silt fence around your work area, or boom, you're gonna put a boom in the spillway, or,
No, so we're gonna have concrete trucks pull in, and we'll probably have a pumper truck there.
no, but I mean, for the spillway, you're gonna add 16 inches to the bottom here?
Yes.
Okay,
So we're doing this, we're
yeah?
planning to do this work in October, November. During that time, we normally lower the lake, so there's no water, lake
Right.
water in the area.
okay, so could I get a one-pager from you? Literally just a letter from you, basically stating that you're going, the project, I mean, because this is great, the engineering report, fantastic, makes for a great read. But what I'd like is, I'd like a sequence of operation, if you don't mind. So this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, how you're gonna protect the lake around it. You're gonna put silt fence up, whatever. You're gonna bring, you're gonna power wash the area. How are you gonna get rid of that water? You're gonna use a vac truck to suck that out. And once that's done, are you gonna apply a bonding agent to the concrete?
Correct.
I need to know what kind of bonding agent you're using. Wellcrete?
What do you mean, Well Creek? Yeah, it depends on the contractor, where they want to
Okay.
get there.
So apply a bonding agent, which we're gonna need to see the MSDS on.
Okay,
Then I would say, then you're going to I guess you're gonna drill and dowel,
Yes.
so you're gonna create, dust.
We're gonna have HEPA there while they're doing
Epivacs,
that.
You put that in there. So I just need that whole outline in the letter, please.
Yeah. Okay.
And then submit that to us, and then we'll go through this. There's not enough, again, this is a great report as far as it tells what reason why you need it, how you need it, but I need to know what you're going to do
Okay.
to mitigate and protect the lake.
So the plan was not to use silt fence. Since the lake's down, it'll be about 20 feet back from the spillway. The only work to clean the spillway is in the spillway.
Right.
And it'll be captured by sandbags and a pit and then pumped out to a truck.
If you could give me that
Okay.
sketch, hand sketch showing what you're planning to do with that, basically detailing a scope of work, sequence of operation.
Okay.
I'm gonna need the following, I'm gonna need spill kits on site,
Yep.
I'm gonna need, if there's any refueling, I'm gonna need a refueling plan. If there's any, concrete washout, I'm gonna need that, what you're gonna do with the concrete washout. And I'm gonna need the MSDS for the,
Fueling.
whatever proposed, whatever proposed bonding agent you use. All the drilling and doweling and rebar, need to see, what you're doing with the concrete slurry or the slag or whatever, what you're gonna do with the dust with that, you're gonna use a Hepavac because there's this whole silica thing now.
Right.
So I just need you to lay out the sequence. It could be a page or two.
Okay.
Just give me a sequence. I have the drawings here. They're not stamped by an engineer. The report's not stamped by an engineer. I would love to give you a, letter of maintenance, but this is
It is a
60
huge-
yards of concrete. It's a lot of,
I think the bigger deal is that you're gonna be building a new, not weir, what did you call it?
Cutoff wall.
Cutoff wall. Where is that actually going? I couldn't figure out where that actually was going in the, I mean, it's looking at the
Just so you
picture.
know, this is also in review right now for the Army Corps and DEC as well.
Awesome.
okay, and I'll need copies of those permits. I'm not trying to torture you here, but.
Permits.
So let's go to,
You said Army Corps and what was the other one?
New York City, New York State DEC.
DEC.
DEC, thank you.
That's pretty standard, we have to.
Yeah.
You have to do that.
So here's the cutoff wall right here.
And what's the existing? Where is the existing?
The existing is here, but this is underwater normally, at regular, so this is normal water level.
Okay.
Park line.
Yeah,
So we have some seepage right in here that goes through the earth and comes down at the base of the spillway out here. And there's no real way to get in there and repair it. Most of this structure is 1890s, and then part of it was redone in the 1990s, early 2000s. So it's basically going in the ground and out. So this cutoff wall is gonna block the water basically from being in that area permanently.
and so it's basically that small area in there that's being
We're gonna
That's
regrade
nothing.
that, we're gonna regrade that, yeah. It's probably 200 square feet.
clean fill, I assume.
Or we're gonna probably dig out and stockpile on site.
And reuse.
Reuse. Okay.
It's better to leave.
It is, of course. If you do have to bring in any fill, it does need to have a certificate of clean fill.
Sure, of course.
You know all this.
Again, we're not trying to, I just need, the report's the report, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I need to see the
I
work.
can lay out the work
And
of mitigation.
What's
Yeah.
this here? I mean, this is not the full
Plans-
sequence,
This is
but-
for the sequence, just for this.
The sequence, that sequence is more of, and it's in the report too, of just like, we're gonna,
Excavate, okay.
you know, but it's not a hazard mitigation kind of step by step.
Yeah. We're not looking for a hazard minute, again, I'm sorry, your name again?
Jared, Warren.
Jared, I'm looking for I'm just looking for a sequence of work that you're going to do and what you're going to do to mitigate to protect the water.
Sure.
Right? That's the biggest thing right now, right? And then, obviously, I'm gonna just assume you have a site plan where you can overlay and show me where the 100, this is well within the 100-foot buffer, I'm gonna
So
assume.
there's-
All within it. It's gotta be,
I'm
right?
just saying, I made that assumption.
So there's some wetland, DEC jurisdictional wetland back behind the dam downstream that's beyond 100 feet. But I still haven't gotten any, there's new wetland regulations now, starting January 1st from DEC, that they can, if they think there's a spot that they go out on site and see that it's new wetland, they can
Declare it new
declare it.
wetland.
So I still haven't had any response back from them.
So let me ask you another question. So if you're gonna drive, you're gonna put a pumper truck, probably what, within 100 feet of where you gotta pump the concrete?
Yeah, so basically there's a
Are you gonna
access road.
keep the trucks out of the buffer?
The 100-foot buffer, yes.
Okay, because what my thought process is, if you're gonna drive concrete trucks in here close, driving over the buffer, I would ask you to put mats in,
Okay.
because I don't want you,
Yeah, so this is the spillway channel, and then it goes all the way down to the road. The wetland is on that side, there's no access, it's all,
Okay.
it's all,
The lake, we also do consider, like, water bodies, water courses do fall within the jurisdiction that we're talking about of 100 feet, so if there is, if you're, I think the chairman is mentioning that if you're driving within 100 feet of the lake,
is this the one over here down on Route 6? McCullough upgraded that a few years ago,
I would have to look.
20 years ago.
Yeah,
And that's where they're doing,
few years.
maybe 15. You're doing the roadway too, you're doing the soil stabilization, the DEP, right? That you
no,
guys
I'm
did?
talking about, sorry, on Route 6, that's West Branch Auxiliary Dam.
Okay.
That's a different dam.
Yeah, this is Kirk
This is
Lake.
Kirk
Yeah,
Lake.
yeah. That's a major project. that-
Huge.
Yeah, it's a huge project.
They came before us a long time
Yeah.
ago. All right, Master Drive on if.
All right, so just give us a sequence. I'm gonna need something, I mean, really don't need something stamped by an engineer.
This new wall that you're putting in relation to with here, it would be over here?
Basically right from this corner, right that way.
Got it, okay, thank you.
Sure.
And you mentioned this already, but how much of the lake is being removed from that?
It's about 250 square feet.
250 square feet of lake.
For where? For this area?
They're going here and they're basically pulling the wall that's like this and pulling it out this way further. They're taking, this, yeah,
They basically, this area that normally has water in there would now, sorry, this area.
they're building a wall here to prevent
But
the
it's,
lake.
but because of the.
Seepage, it's
the
seeping down,
seepage,
sure.
So that's negligible.
Sorry?
It's negligible. Also provide if there's any mitigation you may be able to think about.
I think
We'll
it's
look at
fine.
that.
You got a spillway that's leaking, I mean.
Yeah, I know, that's
It's
why.
pretty close to an
It's
emergency.
short-circuiting the spillway, so it's coming.
Right,
It's
I'm with
short-circuiting.
it, I get
Essentially,
it.
it starts pulling fines and soil out of the embankment on that side of the road.
It
Erosion
goes into the
issues.
lake.
Yeah, it just could also cause safety issues with that.
100%, I get it.
Okay.
And then when I respond with that write-up, you want a new set of this with everything stamped?
I'll just take the drawings, I don't need the report.
Okay, the drawing stamp.
Just drawing stamped.
Okay.
Just drawing stamped. You're the city, I'm not gonna ask you for a deed. I'm not asking them for a deed.
Who owns this dam? Does it the city?
The
The
city of
does?
New York. You can go down to City Hall.
Look, yeah. What do you want me to say?
All right, so just in your thing, just for, well, I can't accept, you owe me a lot of stuff. So we need a spill plan, spill prevention plan, spill kit. I need a concrete washout. I need a sequence of operations. I need an MSDS for the concrete,
Bottom agent.
yeah.
And I can also provide,
When you put it out at your SDS also, you couldn't give, but when you put out a contract or a specification, you'll say, use X, Y, Z or approved equal.
so, yes and no. This is gonna be going through jobs, a job order contract, so it's a little different. So if a contractor gets,
Oh, I know how they work.
okay, so, but yes, there's specs, and they do have to provide submittals to us that we approve. We say we want 4,000 PSI, you know, with this bonding, with a bonding agent, we don't tell them what bonding agent to use. And we'll approve it if it meets general standards.
Are you gonna have an excavator or a backhoe on this,
We
Jim?
have to have one.
All right, so you need to give me
Fueling plan,
Fueling
overnight
plan.
parking plan. If you can, we would, we request that all the heavy machinery be parked outside the buffer overnight.
Okay.
So
On-
don't,
yeah.
on poly.
on 6 mil.
Well, let me try it. If you're within the buffer, park it on 6 mil poly. If you're not within the buffer, sure.
Okay.
So this way, if there's any hydraulic leak overnight, it's not going into the lake.
So there's the other issue. I'll talk, usually we make them change out the hydraulic oil to vegetable grade on most of our projects.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, just because we don't want them with hydraulic oil near.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Contractors don't really like that.
They don't like that, it ruins the pumps.
It's just a lot of money, but they charge us, so.
Yeah, they pass the savings on.
That's change out, huh?
Yeah, I suspect they'll have one Bobcat and a small excavator on site for that cutoff wall work. And they'll probably have a pickup they'll leave there.
They're not gonna use form oil, right?
Form oil?
Yeah, when they pour the,
No,
no.
no. They'll just, they do it, they
Plywood.
spray the plywood, yeah, with a releasing agent, which I can get the SDS.
Yeah.
from, so yeah. But it's not oil based.
There was one other thing I was gonna ask you, but now I forgot.
You are 100% positive that DEC, New York State DEC DEP owns this specific lot, correct?
I can get you the parcel and ID, but we own it.
Just
It's
making
our
sure.
dam-
Oh yeah, show me, I need a
We've
map.
had dam problems, and that's not that wasn't a curse.
Damn.
Actual dams having ownership issues in our town of like who owns this, who's responsible, multiple people taking ownership, and ultimately not having actual ownership. So I just wanted to put that out there that we
Yeah, on the
definitely have
plan,
that.
this is the plan view, right? This is the plan view? Just show the, I know it's all in there already, but just show the 100-foot buffer, please.
Sure.
All right.
All right, get it in,
All right, I appreciate
we'll
your
work
time.
with you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Well, I didn't know you can use vegetable oil as hydraulic oil.
You can. Do you know what we used to use in the winter when we wanted to test, hydrostatically test lines?
What?
Windshield washer fluid.
Yeah,
Yeah, because it doesn't freeze.
there you go. Yeah, but that can't be that great if you put if you're hydrostatically testing the lines and then it bursts. That's not so good.
That's the risk you take. Okay, there's some meeting minutes here. Fannin and you can't vote, Anthony, so that one is no, open. 12325, Ed can't vote, well, he can't vote anyway today. So do I have a motion to accept the meeting minutes for January 23rd, 2025?
I'll make that motion.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. Okay, with that, we have no other meeting agenda items. So do I have a motion to close the meeting?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Good night. Let's hope for some good weather. Bye.